today coming to with another video. Now, this one is another bookish video. So for all you book fans out there, this one is for you. Now, also special shout out to the Badass Babe Brigade. I may have talked to some of you guys on Facebook, but I haven't actually maybe met you, or maybe I don't know if I've ever seen any of your posts directly, but it's a great group to be part of, fellow Helena Hunting fans, and I have to say, I am super excited, for more of the Helena universe and the new books to come. So this video is about the book Pucked by Helena Hunting. So initially, I read this book as a ebook. I'd actually gotten an ebook copy through my Amazon Fire Kindle app, and I enjoyed that book, but then I really wanted to get a hard copy. Now, I actually have the rest of the books in the series already as a physical book, but I didn't have the Pucked book yet. So I really had to get this. And one thing I love about this book is that it is signed by the goddess herself, Helena Hunting. And I also love the sprayed edges. So you can see on this side, it is a pair of hockey sticks and a book, and both ends are like that. And then on this side, it is Alex and Violet. So I actually wrote a few notes about this book too, okay? So Pucked is the book that started the whole hockey universe by Helena Hunting. So the initial hockey series that was out was the Pucked series. And then later on, eventually, Helena ended up writing about the Pucked universe's kids in their series. And then she also wrote the Toronto Terror series. And honestly, I've loved all of these universes and all these characters equally. But yeah, honestly, all of her books are amazing. If you need some good hockey romance books, definitely check her out. Or if you love animals and and you maybe want to read about a male main character who has a dog and a female main character who has who's into cats and is trying to, and is running a business about, trying to be like a cat whisperer, so to speak. Or if you enjoy reading books about family, you might want to check out any number of Helena Hunting books. So now, I did make some notes, as I said. So the main characters in this book are Violet and Alex Waters. In this book, Violet gets invited or forced to go on a trip to see her stepbrother, Miller Buck Butterson, to support him at his hockey game after some recent media trouble. And Violet's friend, Charlene, who she works with, she encourages her to get out to and go to the after party and meet some of the players. But Violet just wants to read her book for the book club, and she just stay in a room after the game. One of the players, Alex Waters, ends up flirting with Violet, and she is surprised that he is well-read. So honestly, that is not something that Violet expected at all. She thought that most hockey players were just macho or tough or just sporty, and just pretty faces, but not really smart. Violet has a tendency to say whatever is on her mind, and because she rushed packed, she didn't have the best PJs or bras, etc. One line that I absolutely loved from this book is this line here. I freeze. I am so pucked. There better be a support group for puck bunnies. I'm going to need it after tonight. And another great line I found in this book when I reread it is, why does he look so good? I am so pucked. Violet in response to Alex, I'll get a green tea latte, lactose-free with extra whipped cream, please. Alex, lactose-free with whipped cream, eh? And Violet, it balances the dairy out. I thought that was funny. And another funny line, on your knees, mother pucker, when Violet won against Alex in air hockey. And then another thing that I liked here is, sign me up for Alex Waters Anonymous. I officially have a problem. And another thing here is talking about the game in Toronto, seeing Alex's hometown. What's this? His hometown, XO. OMG. What's going on? And then it says, Alex wants me to come to his game in Toronto and, question mark, and then spend the weekend with him in Guelph. Bless you. Charlene hands me a tissue. So where are you going? And you said already, right? Guelph. And Charlene plucks another tissue from the box. I'm not sneezing. Guelph is his hometown. You asshole. I cleared it with the boss this morning. I told him it would be good for networking. It's not a total lie. I thought that was really funny too, because of course, Charlene didn't really realize that Guelph was a real place. And so honestly, and some people might not realize, right? But it definitely is. And I've been there before and I enjoy going to the mall there. Stone Road Mall is a great mall. And yeah, anyways, so another great thing about this book is the extended epilogue. So many of you know that literally all of Helena's books do have an epilogue where they go forward in the future, or, sometimes it's 3 months in the future, 6 months forward, or whatever. And so what this one has an extended epilogue. And so also too, it says here, fun facts about Pact. I wrote the first draft of Pact back in 2008, which seems like a lifetime ago. I was in the middle of writing what would become my first ever published novel, and it was angsty as all get out. I was snot sobbing all the way through the heaviest chapters, and I decided I needed to write something that would make me smile, to temper with the one that was making me cry. And Alex and Violet were born. Also, the city of Guelph, it is indeed a real place, and it is pronounced Guelph. I attended University of Guelph back in the late 90s, and I started in applied human nutrition. I wanted to be a dietitian. Clearly, this dream of mine did not happen. So, funny thing about Helena wanting to be a dietitian is that later in her hockey world, or in the Helena world, in the Helenaverse, she actually writes a character named Beatrice, aka B to Tristan, or Rix to the rest of the Terror family, who actually was in the financial world, and her brother was actually, her brother Philip Madden was on the Terror hockey team, and and she really had dreamt of doing that, and doing balanced meals for the hockey players and that. And so in a way, even though Helena never got to see her dream to fruition of becoming a dietitian or nutritionist, she actually did make it happen for one of her characters, which is kind of cool in a way. So of course, when you're writing, when you're being creative, when you're doing any outlet like that, you can make that happen for the characters, even if you didn't make it happen for yourself, which is pretty darn cool if you ask me. And yeah, so needless to say, when Helena was thinking about doing that dream and she was aspiring to be a dietitian, she found out she sucked at chemistry after barely passing Chem 101 and struggling through Chem 102. Despite having reasonably solid marks in high school, she decided she needed a change. So she switched to English. Her parents wanted to know what she planned to do with the degree in English, which was fair. She said she wasn't sure, but being miserable for 4 years and sucking at school wasn't her jam. She never took creative writing classes, even though she wanted to. But her love of books and writing carried her through, and she made it out to the other side intact. With her love of books intact. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And and of course, as she says, I never in a million years thought I'd get to spend my days creating worlds and characters as my actual job, or that those worlds would end up in books that sit on bookshelves in stores and libraries and people's homes. And for that, I'm exceptionally grateful. Also, she talks about the Tragically Hip, which are an iconic Canadian band. And she does say, in this instance, I'm Alex. I don't know if I actually attended more or less than 37 of their concerts, but I can tell you that I've seen the Hip in concerts more than any other band. Rest in peace, Gord Downey. How I miss seeing you live. Gord passed away in 2017 from cancer, but his career in music spanned decades, and he is an Ontario-born, beloved Canadian music artist. As well, for anyone who's maybe been a Girl Guide or Girl Scout, there is actually a challenge in the Girl Guide program, which is like a reconciliation challenge, and it's the Gory Downey challenge. So yeah, that's kind of the cool thing, is that he ended up with a Girl Guide challenge named after him. And she does talk about Tim Hortons coffee as well. For those that may not know what it is a coffee shop that is named after a Canadian hockey player. And maple sugar cookies, she mentions about those. And of course, in this book, when Alex was trying to woo Violet, he actually gave her some Canadian maple sugar cookies. And she loved those, and she ended up giving them to her family and sharing them with her friend as well. And funny thing about those maple sugar cookies, maple sugar candies, I actually have a memory going back to when I was in grade 8, and we had our big school trip. And we'd gone to Quebec City for our school trip. And one of the things we did while we were in Quebec City as part of the trip is we went to Maple Sugar Shack. And we had a meal there. We also had like some music and things. And they also gave us some maple sugar candies while we were there. And that was a great memory too, when we were on our big grade 8 school trip for that. And I remember too, we'd had, during that trip also, we'd gone to the St. Anne Basilica, and we also went to like a copper place, and also we went on a cruise and that. It was a really great trip. But definitely I remember being in the Maple Sugar Shack, and it was really something special. And another thing she mentions is, she says here, Canadians really do say a lot. Sort of like hey in the US. But it's common to hear it at the end of a statement when we're looking for someone to agree with what we're saying. It's a warm one, eh? And yeah, so honestly, great series. If you want any great hockey books or anything like that, definitely check Helena out. There is a new book coming out soon by her, as I was mentioning. It's Tally and Flip's story. It's called If You Keep Me. It's part of the Toronto Terror series. And yeah, and definitely the Badass Babe Brigade is an amazing group to be part of. And I'm very thankful that Helena and Sarah welcomed me into that online. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And definitely, if you have the chance, if you haven't already, definitely go check out a Helena Hunting book or two. Until next time, take care. Bye, guys.